I remembered people's audio this time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest One Shot Wednesday, where we once again return to the Looming Twenties, our urban fantasy noir detective piece. There was a lot going on, but this is based around a game system that Greybeard made at 1:30 in the morning? At 1:30 in the morning, a couple months back. We keep coming back to these characters and keep thinking about these characters because I have an absolute blast playing in this game with these incredible people. I would also like to say, today is May 8th, 2019, and you are loved. And to all of our friends celebrating Ramadan, best of luck. I know that it is very tough to try and not eat or drink for a solid month. So more power to you guys, and know that we're rooting for you. Also, in case anybody has forgotten, I sure as hell won't let you because, hey guys, did you know we got some sweet merch? If you go to bit.ly/adventure merch, you can find yourself with the proud owner of the bigger Battler mug or the regular Battle mug. Both of which hold an occasionally appropriate amount of liquid, although really, doctors suggest 8 cups of water a day. Greybeard has 4, though, so already those are going, you're doing what the doctor asked, GB. Also, we have wonderful sweatshirts that you can find. We got t-shirts that you can find as well. As well as posters and a bunch of other really cool stuff, all at bit.ly/adventure merch. Also, because this is my birthday month, if you would like to join our Discord, the link to that is actually going to be in the description of our Twitch video. So, if you would like to hop in, feel free and go on there. Otherwise, if you would like to support the show, either with a Twitch Prime subscription, which is if you have Amazon Prime, then you can subscribe to a channel for free every month. So if you're a returning customer and you're already not using that Prime sub anyways, hey, it would be really cool to see. It would also push us towards our next emote unlock slot, which is going to be really cool. At least I think it will be. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but that's how we kind of roll here, or at least how I do. With that in mind, we also have Patreon, which is patreon.com/indooradventures. And of course, if you are watching this live, it is at twitch.tv/indooradventures. I also have a recap video for our 4 Keeps game that is going to be coming out on tomorrow, Thursday, which covers our New Dawn arc. I am excited because it's going to hopefully set a precedent for me to follow when making these recap videos, as it's more of an animatic style versus me just looking into a camera and speaking at people for minutes on end. So hopefully it will be as entertaining for all of you as it was entertaining for me to make. With that in mind, that's the end of my merch spiel. So, Satan, who are you playing tonight?
Tonight I will be playing Lilith, our resident of vampire mob lord, who, if you guys haven't watched before, she basically is a 1920s Morticia, a bright red lipstick, and all black clothing, and she's a very, very mysterious. And she has a half-orc wife named Rosie, who we rescued last one shot.
Vampire? Did you say that?
Yeah, vampire mob lord. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Wings, who are you playing tonight?
Well, I'm going to be playing Ruhaka, the detective. And she is a human being who can see beyond the veil and is aware of all of the magical goings-on in town. And, you know, she looks like she's crazy, but she knows that she's the only sane one.
All right. And Jen, who are you playing?
I'm playing Beltane Hawthorne, the elf. No, sorry. That's another character. the Fae to the Mistress Fair, and I make sure her and her work goes smooth and steady as I'm part of the crime lord's family.
I'm gonna be playing Hazel Harker. I'm the sister to our good friend Detective Harker, and I am a psychic who is a recently turned vampire as well, so I got a lot on my plate, including, but not limited to, I just earned the right to vote, so y'all better be careful. Women's suffrage is a thing, and it is alive. Unlike certain gnomes that we took care of last time, but that's besides the point. So, with that aside, Greybeard, who are you going to be playing tonight, and lead us in?
I am Greybeard, and I'll be playing everyone else. For these four folks have to dwell in my mindscape for a couple hours. We do have a couple scene changes this evening, so we'll get to those just like last time. We'll see how things work out. We are going to do some on-screen character stuff, so those of you who are just joining us, you'll get to know the characters a little better, and we need to update the characters because they've had 5 years of life between the last adventure where they brought down a significant part of the town, such a significant part of the town that the town has been renamed, and it said mobsters have kind of taken over. They've got the government in their pocket. A few things about the world. The world has a veil over it, and supernatural exists. So if you like Hellboy, Supernatural, any kind of CW show, basically, that has the supernatural ghosts and goblins and such, even half orcs and the newsies, the news kids, they're all like half of them are goblins in the town, except tragedy stuff.
Or they were.
They were.
Died.
But they're goblins, so I'm sure in 5 years they're back. The goblin newsies are back. Most people can't see the supernatural, and even when a supernatural dies, the veil covers them. There are points in the years, like last time, where the veil got thin and things got weird. But this time we're going to start at the beginning of winter, and the cold has swept in across Roveclaft is the name of the town now, Port Roveclaft, and it was changed by the city council using money from Biggie Bad Wolf, who you can check out Biggie Bad Wolf's Twitter.
So great.
That's where we're going to kind of begin. We're going to kind of move through characters. The biggest transition for any of the characters was Hazel. So we need to revisit Hazel, what powers she had, and then we need to visit what Lilith had. And then we'll kind of combine the two to turn Hazel into a vampire psychic.
All right. So last time, for Hazel's side, she was a psychic, but more of like a telekinetic. She had the ability to move things, using her watch this ability. And then she also had things like astral projection and object reading. So she was kind of like an Abe Sapien type where she could touch something and then figure it out, but also could project her spirit out to either go into the veil and find things out, or I think last time I spirit swapped with somebody.
Yes,
And like
you did.
forced like an evil, it was.
And you spirit soul with a primordial.
Yeah, cause that doesn't sound crazy at all. So yeah, Hazel did that. And then she could also do seances and stuff like that, where she could kind of do a similar astral projection swap, but it would be easier because she was channeling with other people rather than just herself.
Yep. So she is, due to the fact that technically her soul is missing, she can no longer contact the undead because she is one. And so your astral projection is gone, and your telekinesis is still there. Your object reading is still there, but your object reading has intensified.
Ooh.
Horribly. It's a very intensive experience now. For some reason, your abilities have been heightened by your untimely undeath. So if we can get those.
Smells like Vampire the Masquerade.
What?
Haven't played any of that ever. Nope.
Okay, so I have object reading plus is what I have written down.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, and then is that still based on Moxie?
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. And then astral projection is a no. Would I still have a seance ability? Because I'm still like,
right. What did it say? I forget what we deigned that to entail.
so basically it was that I could then project my spirit out again, and also do the same kind of swapping ability. So if I don't have that spirit to then send out, I don't think that I would be able to seance.
you can't bring them in. So no, unfortunately.
Alrighty. So I'm down 2 skills, but I got watch this and object reading.
Yep. And you gain the Lilith. What is your you have like the blood health?
Yes, I have the what's it called? I have the I don't drink wine.
Okay.
And that is tied to my Unleash the Beast. Well, Unleash the Beast is tied to that one. So what I have I didn't write it down super clear, but it says human blood lets you regain HP. It says I can spend 3 HP points to add to the dice roll. So I'm assuming if I
So it's you're able to expend the blood energy you have to add to your dice roll for anything physical. So for hold on one moment. What did we call them? Brawn, agility, or fortitude. So you may but you could add to the dice roll for any one of those 3 stats. So you could be fast all of a sudden if you wanted to burn a point of blood, of hit points. And so hence that is an ability Hazel gets for being a bloodsucker.
Okay, and that ability is called I don't drink wine?
I don't drink wine. Yeah. Yep.
It's a spritzer.
With that comes your allergy to the sun. I believe those two were connected. So
because this one I have at the end says roll a d4 to see what you get, but it says repelled by garlic because it's biting.
Yes. So you are repelled by garlic with that one. Nice wings in that Discord. That's awesome. I can't look. Because anyway, long story. We won't go there. Come to the after show for the long story about vampires. So that's the repelled by garlic. That's what that's connected to. And you again, you roll a d4 for damage when you bite someone, and that's how much blood you can take in. And then you can add 1 to 3 off of your hit points to add to any physical dice roll stat. So being fast, strong, can withstand bullets, that kind of stuff. And then what was connected to your sunlight then, Lilith?
That was the look into my eyes. It says I charm people, creature, and it says burns in direct sunlight. Okay. That's what I wrote down.
All right. Hazel, I guess that'll be your other one. Do you want the charm? What's your other abilities? The beast she can't have.
Yeah, I have look into my eyes, which is the charm. I don't drink wine, which is the one we just talked about. Now you see me, which is my speed, so I get to go first, and it burns 1 HP.
Right. Okay.
I like the charm effect just because I'm already a psychic, so doing a little bit of mental manipulation really isn't like...
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it's just like, oh, I can't do these other things. Well, I guess I'll use these other powers I didn't use last time.
Yep. So there you go. Looking through my eyes.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that also based on Moxie?
That one's based on charm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I Don't Drink Wine wasn't based on anything.
It's based on brawn because
Okay.
it's technically you're attacking someone.
Got it.
Unless they're they're just willing, then that will go to the GM for that.
Okay. The thing that I should have posted earlier was we're gonna give you all one more skill because 5 years has passed. So let's kind of think about that for a minute. Harker, no changes really, except for adding a new one. Beltane, you're good. Lilith's good on your abilities currently, right? Okay. So you all get to add. You all get to add one to one of your base stats. So brawn, agility, fortitude, brains, moxie, or charm. You can add one to one of them.
So I am going to put it in. Did we have to cap out at a certain number?
Yeah. 3 is
Okay.
Okay.
the top. So you
I was
have
definitely
to.
gonna go to 4.
Yeah. I was just about to say, you can't have a 4 charm. Basically, because the system breaks itself at that point because you have to roll double ones to fail. And that's bad. So whilst those guys think about that, I'm going to kind of explain a little bit how I hodgepodged a few systems together. Basically, we didn't know we were doing 1920s horror until like 1 a.m, the day of we were running it. And so I took Dungeon World, which I absolutely love, and pulled the mechanics in from that and pulled in stuff from Fate. And then basically, so Fate, Numenera, that kind of thing, jammed them together as best I could, very quickly, and did up a spreadsheet in the afternoon, like on my break at work, and we sat down and created these characters in this world. So I'm very, very happy, and I'm so glad to be back with this for another time. And as far as I know, we're never giving up these characters. So
Never.
months from now, we may have another session. So anybody ready to volunteer on what they think the new skill, the new power could be? Oh, I saw. All right, Detective Harker. Was that a?
Oh no, not necessarily.
Oh.
I'm just fiddling. I know what my ability score is gonna be.
Sure.
I'm gonna up my moxie.
So your moxie is 3 then?
Yes.
Oh, nice. All right.
So I'm good. I'm very good at 2 things, and I have 1s in fortitude and brains, and then 0 in charm and brawn.
They're very smart, don't need it. All right. And Hazel, you said what for?
I increased my charm.
Okay.
Yes. Mostly because I already had a 3 in Moxie, and Charm is one of my other abilities, so it made sense to me to make Charm a little bit better.
Well, not only that, but now you're a sexy vampire. So,
Yeah.
If you're a vampire, automatically you're sexy.
It's... I mean, I was cute as a button before, but now, like, I have that added, like, a slight dash of sex appeal that I only pull out on occasions.
Look into my eyes.
I'm still a little weirded out that some people look at my ankles when I walk by, but, like, we're getting past it.
Beltane?
I'm increasing my moxie by 1, so I have 0 in brawn, 2 in dex, 1 in health, 1 in intelligence, 1 in moxie, and 3 in charm.
Can you real quick remind me what you had for skills?
Yes, I had invisible, which was an old world ability, but came with the negative of an iron allergy.
Okay.
Persuasion, old world ability, due to timeless charm. Guns, which was specified into pistols. Driving expert, and then with wingnut. And mechanical, which allows me to drive tanks. And I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah. All right. Lilith, we went through your skills. How about you, Detective Harker?
Well, let's see. My skills are the sight, which allows me to see past the veil, hit the streets, which allows me to roll Moxie with 3 dice to gain information and rumors. Crack shot allows me to roll 3 dice instead of 2 with a ranged attack once per scene. And know thy enemy, which is I get to reroll intelligence checks to recall information on supernatural enemies.
Right.
So a lot of information gathering stuff and knowledgeable stuff for a very not intelligent person.
But that's the kind of detective noir sort of thing that happens, you know. I mean, they fall into the things a lot of times rather than putting it together in their brains, you know. So I love that. I love it. Okay. I think other than pick something new, what do we think?
Well, I do have that book now. That I stole from my good friend Beltane at the end of last game.
Oh.
And you know, I am a very nosy detective, and I like to gather information. I'm wondering if I could use that book for something.
Okay. What can we do with a book? And what was the book about?
The book, you could look into it and roll, I think, is basically like a wisdom saving throw, basically.
Oh, it was the gnome's book.
Yeah, the gnome's book.
The Nazi gnome.
The Nazi gnome book.
Got a hole in his head.
Yeah. Hey, at some point, if someone would be so kind as to put the past episode's link in, just in case anybody wants to go back and check that out.
If you haven't watched it, you should, because by Nazi gnome, you can tell that a lot happened.
Yeah, a thing or two may have happened.
Since you already have the reroll and so much information gathering,
I mean, I totally get it. I probably should have something else.
Yeah.
But the question is, what should it be?
So.
Do you have fighting skills?
Your sister.
I have exactly 1 fighting skill.
Your sister was turned into a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
How did that affect you?
I don't feel super great about that, actually. Come on, Frankie. Decide what you want here.
Considering your husband or significant other was also
werewolf.
Yeah, my fiance was killed by a werewolf. But no, actually,
he was turned into
a werewolf, and then I killed him. That's right. So yeah, no, like my sister being turned into a vampire is rubbing Harker like all the wrong ways. And honestly, it's halfway her fault because she told Beltane to protect her, and Beltane was all like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that," and twisted it in that Fey way. And it was all like, "Well, she's gonna die if we don't turn her into a vampire, so here we go." So yeah, no, she's super not happy about any of that. Obviously, Wings is pleased as punch about that development, but Harker not so much.
Oh, the old Greybeard is too, because does that make for drama? So did Harker spend these 5 years drowning her problems in a bottle?
Yeah,
did she,
essentially, yes.
So, have you?
She has been abusing many substances, which is to say she's been abusing drink and she's been abusing the book because she's been trying to use the book to find certain unknowable secrets, like who turned her fiance and how do you turn a vampire into not a vampire, like, you know, just certain things that she probably shouldn't know. Frankie, seriously.
So how about you have kind of crossed a line a little bit and gained some occult knowledge, you would call it, rituals maybe. Maybe you've got a little touch of magic of your own, kind of a warlocky thing, but you don't know where the power's coming from.
I'm not against that. That sounds
All right.
pretty good.
So let's say let's call it minor pact or occultism. One or the other. You think it's occultism, but we as the audience know that it's a minor pact with some supernatural power that you have, that the book basically fooled you into.
I'm going to call it occultism.
Yeah.
With quotation marks.
Perfect. And with that, let's say once per scene, you can call upon minor magics to give you like a D4 a bonus. So
Okay.
you, like I said, once a scene, you can kind of go, I do a little Jedi, or and make something happen. Kind of a prestidigitation sort of deal.
Okay.
Distract someone with something, or no, my beer was empty, and so they pour you another beer, and that kind of, those sort of minor magics.
What is the source of these magics? Just so I get an idea of where I can go with it.
So I'm trying to weave it into the plot.
You're allowed to say, like, I literally just don't know where it comes from.
Yeah, because you think that you've studied this book, and this book has told you, wiggle your fingers and say abracadabra, and you can make dice change their numbers. So when Harker needs a little green, she's got a way to do it. Yeah, so I think you're fooled. You think it's magic that you've learned as rituals, and so you're turning the evil against itself. But there is a power out there that we will meet during a scene change, that is really behind your pact, as it were.
Great. I can tell Beltane's going to be super happy about this.
No, he's so no.
Super jazzed.
Far from it.
It'll be great.
And I'm going to take it one step further, that because the audience doesn't know, you have a twin-tailed fey cat, right?
That's right.
So it's in the scene. It's been there screeching the whole time.
Yep. Gnawing on my shoulder.
It seems to hate when you use your powers. If you've ever used them around the office, like, I am not going to get up and get the coffee pot, and it'll like and flee. So there's something going on there that should be cluing you in, but the veil is working against you on yourself in that way. Okay.
There are more things than the veil that will
Yes.
that will cause denial like that.
Yes.
And Harker is just chock full of it.
Because Garsh knows if I could draw coffee from across the room, it would. I would be doing it. Okay. Anyone else know what their new power might be, or have an idea that we can work with?
I had an idea.
All right.
I thought like something along that, some sort of shadow power.
Okay.
So either I thought about teleportation, but I do have the speed power already. So I thought maybe like shadows can I can control shadows to hold on to people, have them hold in place or something like that. I don't know, but we can work around. That's kind of the idea I had, but.
Okay. Having recently played a Shadowmancer, I'm all about this. It was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah, that's what I said. 1 week ago? It couldn't have been a week ago. No, I wasn't in last week's. Right?
No,
right,
it was
maybe.
Last week. Eyes of the Viper was last week because that was when I was having all the problems with uploading. This is what one-shots do to you people.
So much. I know. I played 25 characters, it seems, in the last couple months. All right. So, yeah, let's go ahead and call it Shadowmancy. And we're gonna play it by ear. We're gonna make it more of a minor power,
Okay.
so that it doesn't give you any. There's no repercussions for it.
Okay.
So, suggested uses: you could be outdoors in daylight with just a hat on, but because you could surround yourself in a shroud of shadows, you can walk about even more freely than before.
Okay. So it's kind of as some sort of control over shadows.
Yes, yes. So we're gonna let you go ahead and say, try to use it. Like, say I want to manipulate the shadow to hold someone in place, or blind someone, make it dark so they can't see, or hide yourself or your friends in shadow, that kind of stuff. And what we'll do is let's base that on. Shadow. Is shadow part of the darkness, or is shadow a spirit natural part of the world, like our little gnomes were? I think let's call shadow part of the world, because
Okay.
darkness lies within the heart. True darkness. And so let's go ahead and make that. I hate to play into your wheelhouse, but let's make it charm. You
Already maxed out on that one.
yeah. So it's part of you're talking the shadows into doing what you would
Yeah.
what you will. If it was more of a magic-y spell kind of thing, then we'd make it brains. But yeah, uses the heart of darkness. Okay.
We could call it the Heart of Darkness.
Sure. Let's call it that. Yes.
That one's pretty
the
dramatic.
All right. Okay. Beltane?
I was thinking fading light, which is a like daze ability that could come naturally, like from the Fey ability to charm. But instead of charming, it's dazing, like just popping up and stunning an enemy.
Okay. So is it a physical base, like you Fey step or whatever, and then you're like bam and you let them have it? Or is it like here's some sunshine? And then,
I was thinking sunshine, but I like the BAMF idea better.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
BAMF. So it's just kind of a quick, like almost like Lilith's ability to move stupid fast.
Yeah.
But do you travel from space to space? Here's what I'll put in the balance. If you actually teleport a small distance, then we'll give you another like allergy for the Fae.
I think that works. Yeah.
Okay. So
I like that.
So basically, if there's a locked door and you can see beyond it, bam, you could technically go into that room. So for that, so you're already allergic to iron. What are some other Fey preventions?
Rowan, salt.
Yeah,
salt. New world stuff.
Salt was the first one that popped into my head. From Asian mythology, mirrors.
Mirrors, yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that's too much? I think because poor Beltane.
Mirrors are all over. It's like I can't look.
Not only that, but Beltane is so into like fashion and being beautiful that I would hate to take that from him. It would have to be a much bigger power, like real teleportation.
Yeah.
What about film?
Film?
Like cameras?
Okay. Cannot be filmed? That would be almost a power, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like an advantage.
Like it hurts him.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of what's that one Japanese video game, Fatal Frame, where like you can attack ghosts with a camera.
Oh.
I think
all right.
We could just simply go with a Rowan branch as well. because those were meant to ward away really bad fae. Like, if you didn't have a rowan tree in your front yard, you were pretty much screwed.
And Hazel or Steven, you had a...
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you had done the salt allergy, since this is like right at the swing of the boom of the 1900s, that's when like heavily salted and like heavily sodium foods begin to be really prevalent.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
you have
let's
like a salt allergy, it's basically like you can't eat out anymore. You're stuck. Like,
Let's run with salt. I like it.
Okay.
I like it a lot. That's good.
Full-time vegetarian.
No garlic, no salt. This household is like,
Yeah, oh, man.
we use a lot of rosemary.
It's definitely not an Italian household anymore.
We are a
I
sad
even
bunch
invite
of
Biggie
cooks.
and the boys over. Come in with garlic around their neck.
No, I'd invite you over for dinner, but you have so many dietary restrictions. It's a little hard.
Go to the Indian joint down the street. Okay. Is that everybody? Did we skip someone? Hazel.
I don't have
Hazel.
my last power. So my thought initially was I was talking with some friends the other day about Magneto and like how whenever Wolverine like runs up to Magneto, he always just like separates bones from person. But like, so if I use it, but like now that I have a closer affinity to blood, would there be a way to do like bloodomancy where like I can either like pull the blood out of people and just bring it to me so that way I don't even have to bite them? I can
You want
just
to be a bloodbender.
Is there any way like that? Otherwise, that's totally fine. I can think of something else.
Oh,
What-
poor Jack, you'd freak him out.
What do you have right now? You still have...
I have object reading, watch this, look into my eyes, and I don't drink wine.
thank you.
Yeah, I want to run with the bloodomancy because, well, it sounds just metal. So, oh, go ahead.
Or if I do bite people, can there be like a residual thing where then later, if like I have bitten them before, even if they're not like a true servant, for like X amount of time, I can then just be like, come to my aid, and it's basically me being like, I'm cute as a button. Everybody would protect me, and anybody that I've bitten has then just be like, no, I have to protect Hazel, and like, then comes over and does it.
Blood charm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, put down blood charm, and then since we have D6s available, or you should, because I don't have to roll anything. We'll make it a 1d6 days.
Okay.
So when you feed on someone, because you're so cute as a button, you get the blood charm for 1 to 6 days.
Okay. Sounds good. And then that's going to be based on charm?
Probably charm, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it has charm in the name. I would assume so. You're like infinite moxie. It uses dex.
Yes. Yes. The strength of the ancients, brains. Okay. All right. And so the other thing we're going to do is give each one of you take well, first off, if any of your scores changed, it should affect your sanity, or your luck.
Do our
Right.
luck points refill, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do. Yeah, so it should
What is sanity based on again?
Sanity is brains brains and moxie plus 10.
Thank you.
I have my character sheet pulled up in GB's Excel, so I'm just looking at what
that's what I'm looking at too. Yeah, so your agility and charm get your total luck points. So yeah, if your agility or charm went up, add to your luck. Your luck has refilled. Oh god.
Sanity refill?
Whew, yeah. You should be at full your stats, and you guys are manipulating the sheet, and it just scared me. I was like, the sheet
There's
is
a
moving
ghost
right.
in your machine there.
Exactly.
Not only can I manipulate Shadow, I can manipulate Excel.
Exactly.
Excel is the definition
sorry,
of
I'm
the
a
shadow
modern
realm.
vampire.
But Robots Uprising starts tonight.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Ahead
Starting
of
with our
schedule.
game, Sons of Beavers. Why did I invoke that pact? Okay. All right. So everybody's stats are reset. Now what I'm going to give you is what do you guys think? Is 1 point too few to add to each one of those? So like you're now first level, because you were 0 level, you're first level. So 1 point, so it'll be your stats plus 11, or do you think 12 is better? Like 2 points. I think 2 points per level sounds pretty good. That way someone's 10th level, they would have 20 extra of whatever. Does that sound too much?
That would add to the sanity and physique and luck.
Yep.
Or sorry, sanity and physique.
Yep. Let's make it 1 point per level. That way it's simple math.
Yeah.
If you're second level, you have +1 or +2 +2. If you're third level, you're +3 +3 +3. So
That sounds good.
all right.
So,
Look at me creating games on the fly.
So then sanity would be brain moxie plus 11.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And luck would be your agility and charm +2. No, +1. +1.
Okay.
Ah.
So, all right. Look at that. You wanted improv. It doesn't get much more improv.
You got it.
Excellent.
Okay.
So we are technically level 1 now.
Yes.
All right, since this is an Excel sheet, I'm going to actually use Excel references and stuff.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. I'm a little more hardy now.
And a little more sane. Hmm.
Yeah, a little more safe.
Well,
how that works.
or at least resilient.
Yeah. So 12, 13, I think. Yes.
Oh, I'm beefy. I got 14 physique.
Yeah.
Morticia Adams with like, the gun show. Okay, so as we begin, a starry night, we see amongst the stars, we're above the clouds, and there's a pattern in the stars, but there seems to be too many of them to make out an instantaneous, it's not Orion. You're like, nah, we don't know what these stars are. We're just looking at stars. But it holds there just long enough for us to go, the stars have something to do with this. And then we sort of fall towards the clouds, and we move faster and faster down through the clouds. And as we come into the clouds, the feeling of cold arises. It's not storm clouds in a classic thunder and lightning sense. They're just heavy, heavy clouds. And we can see from above, we see the moonlight bouncing off them. I don't know where the moon phase would be this winter solstice in 1925, but let's say there's enough moonlight bouncing off on the clouds to cause some harsh shadows amongst the heavy clouds. As we move through the cold, we hear like a whistling sort of wind noise that comes about us, and as we fall through the bottom of the clouds, it's dark, very dark. We can tell that the snow is coming down like like ice road truckers, just snow, it is a blizzard, a winter storm. The snow is going in all directions. It's not just falling. They're not flakes floating. The snow is whipping and whirling and swirling. And we come down over a Rovecloft, Port Rovecloft, in a swooping motion where we see the lighthouse, we see the old village, where the mountain came down. And we cross past it and we swoop around almost as if we're being carried by some wind. And as the wind circles the entire town, we see the little lights, the street lights glowing like cottony light bulbs covered in what used to be called angel's hair, Christmas lights, because we're so far up that the street lights still look like Christmas lights everywhere. We swoop down and around and then up, and we come down to Detective Harker's office. This winter solstice, what's Detective Harker doing in her office this evening?
I think she's poured herself a drink. I think she would be drinking eggnog if Hazel were here, but since she's not, it's just going to be whiskey tonight.
So she's got her coffee mug, and it's like a Christmas coffee mug, but then she's just pouring rum right into it.
Absolutely.
All right, great. I love it. Okay. So feet up, and are you lamenting your sister's still missing technically? I mean, you know where she's at, but yeah, her absence, her non-presence in the office.
Well, she's constantly lamenting that, but like right now, not specifically that. I think that she's gonna hang out for a little bit, and then as it often does, the book begins to call to her, and she's gonna, get a little curious and give that bad boy a crack.
Okay, so whilst you're there, you've got your mug, not with forks in it. You've got your mug, and you notice, you realize that Pork, your twin-tailed fey kitty, is on your lap, and you've been petting her. Like, her or him?
I don't know. You tell me, Beltane.
I don't think Beltane specified. He just said his name's Porcupine, and he didn't name it.
They are on your lap, and you realize you're petting them, and you start to think of the book, and you get a swig. Now, you have a cat on your lap? Do you magic the book to yourself?
Of course. Yeah, it's an unspoken law. You're not allowed to get up when there's a cat on your lap.
And that's why I asked. All right. When you reach out, the cat, and its fur is strange. It's almost like velvet. And both tails shoot straight up like this, and it digs its claws into your lap, and then leaps from you just as the book snaps into your hand. The pain is there just as the book hits, and where's the book? The book is gone. It's in your office, obviously. All right. So, that is so weird. All right, props walk off, I guess. Okay.
I can use this.
Yeah, perfect. All right. And the book snaps to your hand. And what are you going to ask the book this evening?
Where is Hazel right now?
2d6, and we said the book was based on brains, was it?
It was Moxie.
Moxie, because you're using your heart to reach into said book.
That's right. All right. That is 5 on the die, plus 3 is an 8.
Whew. Okay. All right. So, Hazel, where are you this evening?
Oh, geez. Well, truth be told, I was feeling a little peckish, so I probably went down to the docks, like I normally do, and see, if maybe talk to some of the girls down there, see if anybody has been, being rude, mean, roughing them up at all. And if they are, maybe I get a little snack in on the way. Or if somebody pays me a little bit more attention and seems like they'd be really nice, like a really strong, confident Joe, then I would probably talk to them about it and see if maybe I could use some of my powers to get a free meal and maybe some backup in case of a problem that may or may not arise later.
And you're wearing your borrowed fox skin coat, I assume?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I have a nice dock hat on now, so my auburn curls rest right nicely underneath.
All right. Well, why don't you all right, so when you come across said gentlemen, do you immediately charm them, or do you speak to them first and just try to get their help without because there is always someone who's causing trouble down at the docks. I mean,
well,
it's Roveploft.
That's when I use myself as a little bit of bait. And kind of just like walk in front of them, give them the look over the shoulder that's just like, hey boys, and then continue walking. So that way, being the 1920s, if they're gonna be forward enough to probably do 1920s things, big air quotes, that go down an alleyway, he follows, turn around, don't want it, look into my eyes, look how cute I am, you're gonna let me bite you. And then if it's that's just if they're like a general person, like if they seem kind of nice or a little shy, maybe I lure them away. But if it's one of these fellas down at the docks who's been very mean, then that's definitely there might be a body or two wash up. I mean, if they're gonna be mean, it doesn't matter what I do. They're still gonna be dicks.
All right. So why don't you give me a roll, and what is your current luck score?
5.
5. I will say, yeah, go ahead and just roll 2d6. We'll see where it ends up.
All right, what am I adding to this?
Nothing.
Okay. That's 7.
Okay. And you're a pretty lucky individual currently. So one of these mean boys that the girls have told you about starts wolf whistling and following you as you pass a speakeasy, as it were, and him and his fellas are out front for some reason, probably got kicked out for being bad boys. So they are now following you.
Excellent.
Lured into the alley.
Yep.
Hey, darling, I'm talking to you. Hey.
And I'll turn around. Is it just like one person or is it multiples?
It's just him. He
Okay.
obviously told his buddies, like, I'll be back.
So I'll use the look into my eyes ability and I'll approach him and be like, so, were you thinking you were going to get lucky tonight?
Okay. And you're hitting him with it like right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as
Go
I
ahead,
initiate conversation with him.
Yep. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Oh, geez. Well, that's a 7.
Okay. All right. Partial success. He stops just short of obviously grabbing you, and he gives you this squint eyes like something's wrong, but I'm too stupid to realize what's wrong. And the fist he was making to like grab you and punch you in the gut, to knock the wind out of you kind of thing, he just stands there with staring at you, and it's like, go ahead.
Well, it's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to need you to turn around.
And he does.
All right. Now, I'm going to make you feel real good, see? And she's like rubbing his shoulders and just,
Okay.
and like, she'll lean in and like whisper into his ear and say, I'm going to make you feel better than you've ever felt before. and then just you just bite right into his neck.
All right, and so he's like, oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Oh, darling, I'm so glad I followed you. All right, go ahead and roll for some blood points.
Blood points. All right, so that is 1d4. Right. Okay. That's a 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Was your intent to kill him?
Yeah.
All right.
Mama taught her well.
Yeah. Do me a favor and just roll me 2d6, just flat.
11.
Oh wow. Okay. Dead. He's way dead. Yeah. It's even so much so that you're like, a big roll of cash falls out of his pocket. Like literally a hunk
Just a wad.
A wad of cash falls from his pocket. So I mean, do you ever search these guys?
Not particularly, but if something presents itself in front of me like this, I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened is basically when he fell, he was probably reaching in his pocket for a switchblade or something, and lump the roll, the choke a dinosaur size roll of cash falls out. So,
all right. Well, since I'm by the docks, I'm gonna go out, kind of poke my head, clean my mouth up a little bit. Is there anybody looking near me? Like looking this way?
So from our perspective as your are you really pale like Lilith now?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen the sun in like 5 years other than just being indoors.
So as your face pokes out of the harsh shadow of the alleyway, we get that sort of moon-faced, and it's all like Ingrid Bergman film kind of thing, where it's half the face and your beautiful hat and all this wonderful framing. We notice that the blood on your lips just is like lipstick. It's perfect. It's like you go like this a little bit, and it just sort of becomes lipstick. You don't know if that's the veil working or whatever, but the like I said, your face comes out of the shadow, and you wipe, and all of a sudden your perfect visage occurs again. Yeah, and nobody seems to notice. There's quite the blizzard out, so basically the only people on the street are at this point just people coming and going from that speakeasy.
All right, well, I'm going to wait a little bit until no one's really looking, and then I'm going to use Watch This to throw the body into the harbor.
Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead and give me a roll on that.
Okay. All right, so that's going to be a 10.
Okay, all right. And the 7 to 9 that occurred, just to kind of explain to people, that's a partial success. So as a player and as the audience, that something's going to occur. The reason the reason that he found that money, that big roll of money, is going to be a consequence later on.
Oh, I'm sure everything's going to be fine, Mr. GB.
so you got a 10, perfect, like we see from this alleyway the body go and it just goes through the ice into the harbor and is gone. So spring or crabs are gonna get it. We won't see him for a while. Many bodies washed up this spring. Okay, so Hazel, sorry, we wish back, and this was all in Hazel's eyes.
She's gonna go buy Lilith something nice with all that money.
We see Hazel shake in her Harker. both H's. Lexia, no. Your rum is sloshing a bit, and you come out of this vision. You know that Hazel is on the dock, up to no good. Though you didn't actually see what happened, you know her location, and you know it's not good. You get that anxiety, kind of a dread thing going on.
But I do know that she's up to no good,
Right.
but not that she's
in danger.
In
Right.
danger. She's not, or is
not,
she in danger?
She's not in danger.
All right. Harker will throw the book down on the table and pour more drink.
All right. And
not pleased with that at all.
As we watch the rum hit the glass and splash, we see the white of the inside of the mug, and it becomes a snowbank sort of thing where we're in the snow, and then this sort of a scene wipe goes by, and we're outside of Lilith's mansion. It's America. We don't have manors, we have mansions. Okay, so we're outside. Now I want to kind of set the scene. You have a wrought iron fence around your place, right? So technically you are kind of locking Beltane in. So you muted?
It's more to lock out other like evil fae.
Right.
Because Beltane can always leave obviously whenever he wants to.
Yep.
But
okay.
Technically, as a consequence.
So we see the snow. We get snowblind for a second. The snow swirls. The manor is mostly lit up. The little gas lights and whatnot here and there. Again, looking like little Christmas lights wrapped in cottony. It's actual fiberglass when I was a kid. Anyway, and we come into the manor, and where are Lilith and Beltane at the time?
Lilith is probably in her study going over like ledgers and contracts and just paperwork. She's working after taking up as not only the brains but the phase of the mob. She's been very busy.
Okay. So as we come into the manor, we hear a metal on metal clanging, like a ka-chung, and we start, like, we dive through the snow into the bottom of the manor, and we see Rosie with probably 300 or 400 pounds of barbell weights, and she's like on a weight bench, and some of the boys are standing around. A couple of gobos, goblins, and a couple of the orcs that she always kind of has, like, who are her lieutenants for the muscle part of the gang. And like I said, it's like 400 pounds. She like boom, puts up in the rack. And then we start coming up through the floors. We pass by Lilith doing ledgers, and then we go up these beautifully carpeted stairs, over, around, and come into, where's Beltane?
He is actually in his room watching the storm as it's solstice day, one of the Fey holidays. He's actually a bit morose. He's a bit withdrawn as he can't celebrate it with his family back in the Feywild. So he's just watching the storm before he goes back to his duties, knowing he can't be part of the Feywild much anymore, except for maybe the wild hunt when those veils fall and the permissions falls and stuff like that.
So go ahead and give me a brains roll, please.
Okay.
Use your brains.
7.
Excellent.
8. Excuse me. 8.
8 all told. Okay.
Yes.
This is not a normal storm. This is powered by something. You can feel this as the wind whips across the house. It physically stops at the windows and the framing of the house, but you feel the spirit of this storm cross through you. It rips through the house as it comes by. No one else would probably be able to feel this. But you being from the Fey realm, you can feel that this is not, the veil is weak currently, and whatever is causing this storm has power here.
Upon realizing that, I'll pull away from the window, leave my little pocket realm, and go down to Lilith's office and knock a few times.
Okay.
She uses her shadow power to open the door without even having to look up or get up. She's just like,
I'm not even gonna make you roll. That's so cool. The shadow from the frame of the door goes and comes together over the doorknob, and it flings it open, and the door creaks open. And one of the goblins was going around and, like, you know, oiling the hinges, like in fall, and got to your office door and went to do it, and Lilith was like, away, because the door is creepy when it squeaks like that, and you love it. So so the door sort of creaks open, and Beltane.
Pardon me, I know you're quite busy, mistress.
I always have time for you, Beltane.
The storm, it's today's solstice day, mistress.
Yes, I'm quite aware. Is there something wrong with the storm? It's particularly common at this time of the year.
It doesn't feel common. It feels old, if that's a phrase to put it.
Similar to what we dealt with a while ago.
Yes and no, maybe. There's a particular fae I know in the old world that like to kill children on this day, unfortunately. He had to be put down.
Ooh. Well, at least it won't have to deal with that. If this feels particularly uncommon to you, and I trust you, you are free to use any resource to find out what it is and get back to me, if you would do so.
Yes, I think we should call back our allies and family here, particularly your new ward.
Yes, Hazel should be back. I believe she's back at the dock. You know how she loves going to the docks.
She's careless, mistress.
I know. I'm trying to work with her. It's a rough couple first years when you're a new fledgling. I admit. But slowly but surely, she's coming into control. I promise I'm doing my best to try and make her less careless. But there's only so much.
Don't get me wrong, mistress. I think you are doing the best you can. Each vampire turned is different. I understand.
There's a reason why I still have her under my watch, and I have her still here, and I have not returned her to her sister.
So I'm gonna offer something up. If you're willing to give up you can do. Let's put it this way. If you'll take a -1 to your fortitude, you can have a blood bond with Hazel, so that you know where she is all the time, and you can tell, kind of an empath kind of bond, where you can tell if she's in trouble, or you know, like when she's making that kill, you get a little like excitement.
Spidey sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's okay with Indoor.
As a player, I'm fine with it. Hazel, I don't know. She might just be like, is this happen with all vampires?
I think the thing too is that Hazel doesn't feel it at all.
No.
So it's in what it's going to signify is like you you're giving part of your essence to Hazel. Maybe you're sneaking a drop of your blood into her food or something, some sort of way that's continuing this bond. So it's like a blood magic sort of deal, so that you know where she is and know that, oh dang it, she, zip, you can use your oh, step of the wind, but I forget what we called it.
Now you see me.
Now you see me,
Mm-hmm.
to get there and like save her keister.
I would say because when I turned her, she had to take some of my blood.
Yeah.
Since that is in my mind, is kind of like what brought her back to life, and that's part of her now. So we can
Perfect.
do that.
Perfect. So you don't have to continue it.
Exactly.
It was that initial bonding that has now caused you the -1 when you
Yeah, a sire fledgling type of bond.
Mhm.
That's why my
fantastic.
lipstick's always on point. Is because of the side.
Yeah.
The blood bond. Okay.
So I'll put a -1 to my fortitude.
And leave the number, but put it somehow brackets or some way to note it that will. I know it's an Excel sheet and it'll be a pain in the butt, but or maybe just put a note by it.
I just put a -1, like parentheses.
Perfect. Okay. So Beltane, the storm, you know where Hazel is. Okay. Your ward calling back. Okay. So Beltane is saying we should call in our allies. And you said use any resources you need to get a hold. So
Exactly. He has full range of any resources that I would have as the head of this mob.
okay.
I think with that, I'll excuse myself before turning back and saying, I'm going to call in the detective.
Of course. Have you been checking up on our dear darling detective?
The best I can. She's taken a lot of my advice to words and unfortunately warded a lot of spots, and I don't care for it. I mean, I can get to her sofa. Her sofa's nice to sleep on, but...
Well, thank you. I guess we'll see what she's up to in a little bit. And before you leave, she'll open a drawer and she'll like, oh, and Beltane. And she'll take out a very nicely wrapped, decorated box, and she'll give you a present. I don't know what it is because I just came up with it, but something meaningful to Beltane for it's not, is it solstice? Winter solstice? Yeah. And she'll give it to you.
You didn't have to. This
Your
is...
family.
Thank you.
Of course. I hope it's, you're the only fae I interact with on a personal level, so I hope it's to your liking. And you can decide what it is, something meaningful to Beltane.
And so we don't put you on the spot now, and so that it can be a good part of the story, just put it down present or solstice present, and it can be like Harker's case, her case. You just get one use, but story-wise, you can just pull that out at some point and be like, I open the present, and it is, a Thompson submachine, whatever it needs to be for the scene to become meaningful. So that's what I love about this kind of system. All right. So let's cut. And Beltane, you I cannot remember your car's name.
Tatiana.
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 We hear the beautiful purring roar of Tatiana pull up outside of Harker's office. We as you slow to a perfect stop, we see the nose of the vehicle in the gas lights, and we hear the slight crunch of snow as it ends its momentum, and the doors swing open nearly silently. And we see your foot come out and step. Your shoes are immaculate. You know, the crease in your trousers is sharp. We just see that, and then the next thing we see is Harker Detective, the frosted glass of the door. What do you do?
Place my hand on it, testing the magics on it to see if I can actually enter without magic, or if I actually have to appear on her sofa like a creep.
Harker?
Oh, it's definitely worded. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Of course it's worded.
Okay. And then Beltane, you notice too that you have to sidestep the door itself because the portal has had salt poured in front of it. So you actually have to step to the side and go through the wall to appear on the couch. And when you do, Harker, roll me a brains.
That's a funny joke.
I know, that's why I said it.
6, 7, 8. Ha!
Okay. You duly note that when Beltane appears on the couch, which I'll let you describe in a moment, you do note that how did they cross the salt? Something occurs to you that somehow, how did this Fae get in here past the salt on the portal? Because, you know, all the windowsills and all the doors should be covered. So some other magic other than that should hold their Fae presence from entering a domicile or a home, it has been bypassed or broken. So it's something for Harker to note and maybe do something about later. Beltane, how do you appear on the couch?
You know the scene from Mad Men where he has the arm across the back of the chair, looking very suave, and just kind of sits there. He kind of emerges from the shadow and just sits there and says, "Hey, detective."
Fuck!
Even the cat.
I know, that's the best part. The twin-tailed cat. And as you coalesce there, and you know the book goes flying, the cat goes wow and jumps, and then it realizes who it is, and it seems to kind of Cheshire cat appear on your lap, Beltane. So its twin tails are now flicking like, I am the happiest cat in the world, because she is now technically she's touching the Fey realm again. You know, most likely she feels trapped in this box all the time because there's salt or whatever at the windowsills and things. So Harker knows how to keep her cat under control. Yeah. So you're petting the cat. Hey, detective! Expletive book flies. What do you both do?
How many wards do I have to put on the door until you realize that you're not welcome?
You basically have to salt the entire building, bricks included.
Well, I'm gonna put in an order for some salt in the morning.
Fantastic, detective. It's always a joy to see you.
Yeah, well, it's after hours, so I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
I think you should come back to the mansion. It's new world, old world words.
Oh, that's a funny joke, because we're not friends, not even close. So, no.
All right. Then I'll just stay here. I think you have something of mine.
I highly doubt that.
There's a book you just threw. Oh.
I think it's that little book you stole from me 5 years ago.
That is a very large book, actually. It is very heavy, and it makes my arms hurt from having to hold it all the time. And it's not small in any shape or frame of the word. And also, your book, that is to laugh.
I did shoot a gnome for it.
Murder does not equal ownership, my dear.
I think you find it does.
Get out.
Not until you come back. There's something wrong with the storm.
With the storm.
It's old. Ancient.
Yeah, well, so are you, but you're kicking around just fine.
Yeah, I don't have this type of magic, not anymore.
So what do you need me for?
I would rather keep people I tolerate safe.
Oh, Beltane, I didn't know you felt that way. Let me think about it. The answer is still no.
Then I can make myself comfortable on this couch. I am deeply unflappable, detective.
The cat does a couple loops on your lap and then lays so it's like facing your face, and both tails are like languishing back and forth, just sort of like this is, like lighters at a rock concert. You are a rock star to this animal, so it's totally staring into your eyes during this whole conversation, and it's to make the point that yep, just get comfortable.
I am going to have a lot of salt in the morning.
If you can make it to morning, detective.
Are you threatening me?
No, not me. If I was threatening you, detective, you'd know.
Harker, real quick, you can see through the veil.
Mm-hmm.
What's your other stuff?
Hit the streets, crack shot, know thy enemy, occultism.
Okay. At that point, right after your, what was the last thing you said, Beltane?
If I was threatening you, you'd know.
Yeah, you say if I was threatening you, you'd know, and all of a sudden, it's like an ethereal wind whiffs through the office. The salt from the windowsills and the doors all go and blow across the place. Beltane, it's painful. It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
But and you're blinded by the salt. Take a D4 sanity damage,
Oh,
and take a D4 -1 physical damage.
Ow.
Harker, take a D4 sanity damage. You have the worst case of brain freeze that any human being has ever had. You feel literally like you just took an entire ice cream cone and went gong and just swallowed it. It's just that brain freeze feel.
Ow.
Ow. Okay. All right. So like I said, you get this horrible brain freeze. Your wards have been blown away. You cannot feel any of your wards. The subtle pressures that are there when the wards are in place have just been blasted away. Something big just moved straight through your magics, like they weren't even there. I doubt that it knows there were wards there in the first place. That kind of big. Old. When Beltane said old, it clicks in your head now. Old.
Capital O, old.
And there's like a D and a swirly E at the end. What do you do?
That was painful.
Yeah, counting on the fact that hurt you too, I'm gonna guess that wasn't you.
No.
And Beltane, what does the salt look like when it hurts you? I mean, how does it physically?
When it touches his skin, it actually crystallizes in like a spidery, you know how frost spiders across windows? It's like that across his skin. And it contrasts with the blue into like a stark red or purple color.
Okay. And then now it's sort of breaking and chipping away the salt itself and the spider webbiness, and you've got these like splotches that are slowly coming back. You're fey, and you're ancient, but they hurt.
Did you get kosher salt?
It's iodized.
Are you keeping out gin? Like, what are you doing here?
Listen, I get what I can. And she'll get up and grab a broom out from the broom closet and start sweeping salt off to the side to like make a path for Beltane.
Okay.
Just now listen. I'm still mad at you.
Sure.
And we are never, ever going to be friends.
Okay.
But I'm going to take care of this weird old winter storm nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you help me is up to you. But I'm going to count this as me paying back that little favor I owe you for fucking up my sister.
Oh, that's not how favors work.
Then,
especially with the fae.
She'll throw the broom on the floor. Well, looks like I have no incentive whatsoever.
It affects your sister.
How so?
Because this is an ancient and terrible magic that even I haven't felt in nearly 2 millennia. If I can still comprehend its magic and you felt it, and I'm powerless to stop it on my own, what would a new vampire stand against it?
Don't you dare use her against me. You have no right.
You're right. I'm sorry.
The deal. This is paying you back. And then you walk out of my life and you leave me alone. No more weird two-tailed cats. No more jumping in past my wards. That's a new thing.
Yes, I've grown a bit powerful.
We're going to get this over with, and if I ever see you in here again, I swear it's going to snow sodium chloride all over you.
I will approach you with a proposition, and that's the end of the deal.
Go on.
I am a very old fae. And part of my heritage is to allow a certain gift to people we care for. But we'll talk about it later. We should get back to the mansion.
After you, your oldliness.
I can't get through the door. It's iron. You'll have to open it.
Click.
Thanks.
Okay. As you exit the building, the door opens, and we as the audience see that it's the other three guys that were standing outside the speakeasy. that are standing right there next to the door. Beltane still, picking flakes of salt off yourself and whatnot. Your high senses heightened senses didn't see them, and one of them is just saying, I don't know where Frank went. We got the thing. And the door opens and they like, oh, Detective Harker.
I'm afraid we're after hours.
And as soon as you say that, they put a pistol in your gut, boom, 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 and fire a few rounds into you. And we see Harker falling back like, what the heck is going on? Crunches into the snow. Beltane shreds these guys. Just shreds them. They are as horrible as a fae can. Boom, gone. We just see them sort of disappear in fae death as we hear their screams. Harker, your vision is boom, 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 and it goes black. And the last thing we hear is that the screams of those guys. Harker's last thought is,
I never got to tell Hazel I was sorry.
And then as we hear that kind of echoey voice, that echoey line fade off into the darkness. What do? We go to not first break.
The only
Only
break. We don't take multiples. So, GB, this is awesome. I'm having a blast with this. And thank you to everybody who was stuck with us so far. We are going into our insert placeholder number, I guess, break, where we are going to be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go in a place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or go to bit.ly/adventure merch and possibly pick yourself up either a cool mug, a sweatshirt, or a t-shirt. Who knows? You can find lots of stuff there. And also, if you are interested in joining our Discord server, you can do that for the rest of the month without needing Twitch or Patreon access or anything like that, because that's my way of celebrating my birthday with all of you guys, is that I want you all to be there. So, again, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we are going to be right back doing the same thing that we've been doing, which is playing some improv game, and we will see you guys soon. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. GB is going to be surprising us, the players, at some point, because if you tuned into the last Looming 20s game, there's something behind. There's something behind this piece of paper. You audiocast listeners are really missing out, but if you join us at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays coming up at twitch.tv/indooradventures, you too can see amazing things coming from Greybeard.
YouTube.
You can also check it out on the VODs.
On the VODs on youtube.com/indooradventures. Or go to anywhere audio
This
cast.
one you should check out on YouTube if you can't catch it live. Just saying.
I highly recommend. But yeah, Greybeard, take it away.
All right. As we ended, we heard the last thoughts of Detective Harker, echoey, in darkness. She, her heartbeat slowing and stopping as Beltane, with all the wrath of the Fae, destroyed the assassins, attackers, thugs that killed Harker. Harker, you hear, "Hey, Harker, what's going on? Wait, hey, what are you doing here? Wake up, would you? Wake up." And it's Frank. It's Hazel's fiance,
John.
standing there, and above you.
His name was John.
Leans down. What?
His name was John.
John, sorry. Yeah, John leans down and puts out a hand like, "Come on, Harker, get up. Get
Frank?
up."
Frank, my sister's fiance, my sister's boyfriend. I'm very confused.
It's John.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah, and he pulls you up, and you find yourself standing. It seems to be sort of a plain of snow. Every direction you look is just like it's not even snow because the storm isn't there, but you see that it's just a white plain that it goes off in all directions as far as you can see, which isn't very far because it's like moonlit almost from above. And he he's like, what happened? You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I'd say I'd expect there to be a lot more flames and torment.
Yeah. And he gets this like 1,000-yard stare kind of thing. And he says, I've seen that. It's not good. It's not pretty.
Oh.
But if you're here talking to me, it's a good sign, because that means, you're not there. So I just, I watch in, I look in at Hazel. She talks to me sometimes, but she hasn't talked to me in years. What's going on?
Oh, God. Frank, John, I am so sorry.
No.
It's not you, it's her. It is 100% her. She she's a new person now.
Yeah, I can't even find her. It's like like she's got no soul.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Unfortunately.
Well, I don't get it.
She she almost died.
All right.
And then this fucking asshole. Well, now she's turned into a vampire.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I've been thinking. Finally, someone who understands.
Well, from up here, we see them monsters. It's a nightmare. I don't know how any of us humans survived.
Yeah. Well, I was beginning to wonder that myself. And then this.
By the way, sorry, I always thought you was crazy, because, now I get it. You could see their damn things.
This is really gratifying, honestly. I gotta say. What the hell is happening?
I didn't see it happen, but someone shot you in the guts.
She'll check her guts out. How they faring?
They're well. Wait, where are you at? Yeah, your guts are all hanging out.
Oh, yeah, they sure did, didn't they?
It doesn't hurt that that kind of thing, but the exit wound is pretty brutal, and it's that dark liver kidney blood back there, and you got bits hanging out up front.
Yep, sure enough. Well, I was looking to lose a few pounds anyway.
Does Harker tuck her shirt in or not?
I think she used to.
All right.
Not anymore.
Okay, so there's like 2-3 bullet holes, and it's big red spot, and then the hem of the shirt, and below that is intestines. So that's the conversation you're having.
Did she get to bring her rum with her? Did she have her Christmas mug?
Did she walk out with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
And
I'm just gonna hold on to that.
Yeah, and it didn't break because of the snow. You fell in the snow because you didn't obviously sweep your sidewalk. So
obviously not. I salted it though.
Right, you salted it though. Nice. Beltane puts on rubber boots all the time to walk around in the winter. So, and you notice John, he's not all blowed to bits or anything. So obviously you're in a middle place. And he says, I was sent here to talk to you because, there was issues, and someone thought that it might be easier for you to kind of get a gist of this if you saw a friendly face.
Yeah, sure. We knew each other pretty well.
Yeah.
You and me.
It was all right. I mean,
Frankie boy, John.
Frankie John Franklin, can't remember his last name. Anyway, doesn't matter. Move the story along. We got another
Yes,
scene
and.
change, at least one. So, all right. He says, so I'm gonna get you to where you need to be. You gotta believe in me, all right?
Oh boy.
I know.
I don't got much else to believe in right now, so you're gonna be sure.
All right. So put it there.
She grabs him.
All right. And he shakes your hand and says, do what you can for Hazel, all right? And everything starts to fade. Ah. Try that again.
Oh my god.
Talk
Damn,
amongst yourselves.
that's a harsh night for the detective.
She's
It's been a harsh 5 years.
just on a bender. That's it.
So, question: was I the asshole, or was Beltane the asshole?
Oh,
Honestly, a good question.
yeah, good question. Maybe that'll come up in Nights in the Courtyard.
Oh, there we go. We'll answer after hours.
Yes, our after show that we normally put on at patreon.com/indoor adventures, where, you know, signing up for the Patreon not only gets you access to our after show, but also pops you into the Discord. Also includes adventures that I try and write monthly, such as the Hell Scouts camp adventure that we ran here on a One-Shot Wednesday several weeks ago. Where you get to play as a bunch of tiefling children going through summer camp to learn how to be their best bad self that they possibly can be. You get all sorts of stuff like that by going to patreon.com/indoor adventures, which I will post the link right here. Wait,
I feel like if you bring the detective like this to the manor, which is a manor because Lilith's French, so she most definitely built a manor, not a mansion.
Manor.
She was like, I can't be a mother again. I'll do it, but
No, Beltane's got it covered. I mean, he's like, don't worry. We don't need another kid right now.
I'm not a child. You can just let me out. Let me run free.
Right, we're ready.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Whenever you are.
Set the scene again.
I hate you, Dad. Okay. Sorry.
You took John's hand. Things kind of fade. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Things kind of fade. It does that sort of this gray black that you're seeing on my camera right now, and then you appear before
Fuck.
a robed figure, a skull, a metallic skull, just sort of floating there, and it says, "Hi, Harker. I'm glad I get to meet with you."
Oh, hi. You know,
So-
honestly, this is a little closer to what I was expecting.
Yeah. Well, you know, those gangsters decided that you needed to be taken off the chessboard. So, but someone likes you. And so I don't get to send you down there. One sec. Not enough lighting. Aha. There we go. Just a little more. So I don't get to send you down there. You get to go back. You're lucky that Faye's gonna save your collective ass.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the big guys decided you're going back. You got a job to do.
Well, what if I don't want to go back?
Tough. You're an agent now. You're gonna last a long time.
No!
And I had more to say, but you're going, no. It's perfect. So literally, as you go, no, you wake up on the sidewalk. You wake up on the sidewalk, and Beltane, what is it that you did that brought Harker back?
So Beltane, it's a very old Fey ability, and it's only granted to people that Fey super are protective of, or super like the company of, or even to some extent if Fey have the ability to love. And he granted a gift of immortality to the detective, as he feels he owes her and he wants to protect her with a very old promise he made. And as he's standing over her, his light just coming from his hand and form, he looks very much like his old Fey self. He has long white hair that kind of ombres into a pink. His skin is now almost a dark bark color. His clothes are that made of stars and flowers kind of rolling off of his skin. And around him are the elements of spring. You have the hawthorn, you have lavender, you have tulips, just kind of breaking through the snow and pushing it away for a moment as he's focusing on this power, pushing it into the detective.
Okay. And Harker, no! And you reach for your guts, and they're there. There's still bullet holes in your shirt, and still blood stains, and there's a small bit of spring around you, and you see Beltane in true form. And you feel different. You feel fresh. You feel like a spring rain. You feel like flowers blooming. You feel renewed. You feel clean. You feel like the sins of your past have been just washed away. You're okay. You're okay with having to have killed your fiance. What do you do?
She puts a hand over her guts and looks up at Beltane, who's now in his true form. Yeah, he looks like a tree man,
Mm-hmm.
with bark for skin and stuff, and he's just like a glorious representation of spring. And Harker looks up at him and then chucks her mug at him.
Ow!
And when Beltane looks down, she's sprinting down the street.
He stands up and his old clothes kind of fold back over him, his suit, his hair goes black, his skin goes blue, and he gets like, honestly, mortals. As he just kind of chases after, like, the car's over here. You're going to get lost. Come on.
She'll slip on some ice and fall into a snowbank.
And you hit that snowbank, and for a second you're dazed, and you're like, yeah, Harker, it's part of the deal now. And then you're like, shake that all off. Beltane's standing there by the time you shake it off.
You feel better?
Yes and no.
Great. You want to talk about it? Is that what mortals do?
Nope. Let's go.
All right. Fantastic. Tatiana's 100 yards back.
Harker, do you have your case with you?
Oh, yes. Of course I did.
Okay.
That probably would have refreshed over 5 years, huh?
Yes,
how many uses should I have of those?
Five.
Five.
All right. So I'm going to let you guys talk about the rebirth of Harker for a second while I turn lights back on and get out of the Grim Reaper costume.
All right. Well, we can do a scene in the car.
Perfect.
Okay. Did you buckle up?
Yeah, sure. Click.
Great. We're driving slow because there's ice on the road. As I drive off. How do you feel, honestly?
Like a spring daisy.
Good. 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 Good.
Dare I ask exactly what you just did?
I gave you immortality.
Great.
It's a very precious gift. You can live as long as your sister, and I will have no sway over you.
Wait, what?
Oh, there we go. Yes, immortals don't have sway over other immortals. We can kill each other naturally, but we have no sway over each other. With that...
What you're saying is that you did me a favor, another favor, and now we're even?
Yes, we are even, if that's what you want to put it as, detective.
Crazy eyes.
A fae make absolutely no goddamn sense.
We aren't meant to make sense. We are immortal beings, which you belong to now. Happy spring.
Stop saying that. Just stop it. And she's just like staring with wild eyes out the window. Her hat fell off at some point and her hair is crazy.
Oh, the mistress is gonna love this.
All right. Was there anything that occurred in there that's plot changing, or I really need to know?
No, we just explained what happened.
Okay.
Immortals have no sway over other immortals. We established that.
Perfect. Okay. We're going to appear in the doorway, entering into Lilith's house, and it will. Let's cut like this. The Tatiana, one of those. He pulls into the garage. The door opens. We basically see the car pull in. We see the door open. We see the two of you enter the manor. The big bruiser orc that opens the door for you looks down at the blood stain and the bullet holes. And rough night, huh? His tusks.
We could say that.
And he closes the door and then just goes back to standing there. And then we're gonna.
I'm sorry, I have a question. Did the spring cleaning did that sober her up?
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
That's a faith thing. They would have left you drunk.
Great.
So you're still like
That
buzzing,
explains
like,
why she fell into the snowdrift.
yeah.
Okay, continue.
So as you're entering, we have that cute little scene with the orc. He goes back to being a lump, and we smash cut. What's Hazel doing? Is she back home?
Yes. Sorry, whenever I unmute, I have to do it on 2 different programs, so it takes me a hot minute. But yeah, Hazel at this point would be back at home, mostly because she would have gone like, she had an early night. She wasn't out there super late, so mostly because of the blizzard. But she did manage to go to I'm gonna say a nice hat shop. It's not hat weather yet, so you know that the hats are going to be cheaper than they would be when it's sunny out, and I'm going to buy Miss L a nice hat. Or Mrs. L, because the wedding. I don't want to eschew that.
So technically there was no wedding yet, right?
no wedding yet.
You're just considering yourselves married.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool.
I feel like I might have missed it at some point.
Okay. So Hazel, you use some of this big roll of money, and you're out at the hat shop, as it were, and you hear from the back room, you hear, I guess you'd hear it this way. What do you mean? They what? The three, but one died. Wasn't he the good shot? And they proceed to talk about how all the men disappeared. The second voice says, and that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's I mean, they were just, there was nothing left of them. They were just gone, just shredded, like some beast had like dogs chewed them up. And he's like, well, and then you suddenly it stops fast, and a gnome comes walking out of the back. He's got pointier ears than the gnome you've met before, and a little bit pointier nose, and he's not as rotund, and he walks out, and you see him as said gnome, because now you have the sight, and he's got the wicked pointed hat, and he's got like lederhosen on, and he walks up to a stool, and he walks and steps on top of the stool, and he's like, what can I do for you this morning? Or this evening?
Well, I figured that I recently came into a decent amount of money, and I thought I would do something nice for the lady of the house that I work at.
I have a beautiful hat, then.
She just slow nods. Just
Okay. And he steps onto the counter, and he just walks around the counter, and he reaches way up on a shelf. Well, it would be up for someone standing on the floor. He kind of leans across, and he takes this this black hat, wide brimmed hat with a veil, and he says, these are normally for funerals, but you know, I assume your mistress is got problems with sunlight. And he smiles like I know something. You're a vampire.
Yeah.
You know.
And she just smiles back. I assume at this point, like, her eyes are just red colored. Like, ever since she became a vampire, she hasn't had, like, the very nice hazel eyes that she was named after as a child, but instead has just these, like, very almost bright red eyes, and just, I think that she would, I think she'd appreciate it.
And he says, a lot of snow out there. Let me package this up for you.
All right. How much is it going to be?
And it's exorbitant. For the time period, it's probably like $25. You know, hey,
yeah,
that's like 2 months wages. So, yeah, and
I'm going to make sure to not pull out the entire stack of cash, because why would I do that? That would be ridiculous. But I'm going to, like, see if I can, like, take a few bills from my pocket or from my utila purse. Is what I have written down.
I'm going to say luck point or roll.
Luck
Your
point.
Choice. Okay. You spend the luck point.
Yeah, so I'll just pull it out without, like, look at all this money I came into. I'm only going to buy one hat, though. Like, no, that'd be ridiculous. So I'm just pulling out what's necessary and then setting it on the table for him.
And you notice then that that whoever this guy was talking to in back is, like, peeking through the curtain, and you recognize him as one of the guys who was standing outside the speakeasy.
I'll give him a wink.
Okay. Do me a favor and just roll me 2d6.
Why do I wink at people?
With your add your charm to it.
Okay. 11.
Okay. He recognizes you as the guy who walked off with his buddy, and is like closes the curtain, and you can hear him shuffling around in the back. He's doing something back there, and the gnome is like looks back and then looks at you and
just
shrug. And he's got it all in a beautiful hat box. It's got like a gold rimming around all the edges, and then it's got a beautiful big bow that is like the box itself is a crimson, and the bow is sort of like a rainbowy kind of spring accoutrement, and then he's like, he goes to hand you the whole thing, and then he looks outside and he's like, I could cover this in, the wax paper, so it's even more of a gift, and it'll protect from the snow.
That's fair. Thank you so much. You're awfully kind.
He dun down, and the box he puts up on the thing goes and rolls out like 3-4 foot of this butcher paper and rips it off, comes back, and he packages it all up and ties it with a string in a way that you can carry it by the string, and he slides it across and he's like, and you can tell all your
all my friends,
your friends, very special friends, that we are very open to your kind.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll pay him his money, and I'll make sure to pull out a few extra bills because he gift wrapped it twice over. So make sure that he has all of that.
Old cash register, and he like a typewriter keys, and ching ching, and the price tags actually physically pop up, and drawer opens when he pulls it and makes change, and gives you everything back, and it's like, you have a great night. Try to stay warm out there. Oh, crazy me.
And I'll just giggle at him and just, oh, you. And then as I exit the door and I close it behind me, my face goes from being like tee-hee to a very serious, just, like I hate dealing with gnomes.
And give me your choice, brains or... No, brains. Give me a brains roll.
Oh, well, shoot. Okay. That's a 5.
Do you want to spend blood points to up that?
Oh.
Or a luck point to re-roll?
I'll use a blood.
Okay. Well, so you need a 5, 6, 7. You need 2 blood points.
I won't use a blood. I'm just gonna take it as it is.
Okay, you're gonna leave it?
Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Or re-roll with a luck point. You've got like 5 luck, right?
I got like 4 now.
Oh yeah. I made just.
Screw it.
Session's coming.
That's
to an
an
end
11.
now.
So
awesome.
Much
okay.
better.
You catch as your visage changes. You catch the same from him. His happy little gnome face goes, and grump eyebrows, and and you swear almost that a goatee appears on his chin. And he kind of eyeballs the back of you, which you're seeing like in the reflection of the glass of the paned windows or whatever, and he immediately turns and leaps from the thing, like practically through the curtain behind him, and what do you do?
I am going to walk briskly away.
Okay.
I have my hat. I still have this money. But I am going to be probably a little bit more skittish along the way. Mostly because if anybody tries to come at me in a group, I don't know what I'll do.
Get one of them to fight the others.
Crown of madness or something.
Hold them off, Philippe. All right. Give me a 2d6 roll.
Sure.
Oh no, you may give me a moxie roll.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use a luck point, anyways, because I got a 3 on the die. So.
Okay.
Oh, with my ads, it's an 8.
Okay. All right. So, as you step past a building, you're nearly knocked over by a gust of wind coming between the buildings, and as you shake it off and you look up into the sky, just disappearing into the darkness, you think you see an alligator tail, maybe, but it was stark white, just stark white, like snow on a bright day kind of white. But it definitely looks something like an alligator's tail. You've been to the zoo.
Huh. I have been to the zoo, but I ain't ever seen nothing like that before.
And it was huge. It was the width of the alleyway.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So, but at least as big as one of them big new trucks, the kind that are 2 pieces. Crazy big trucks.
Those big trucks. It's like a big truck in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be like thinking about that, as well as like still trying to keep my wits about me as I continue back to the totally not manor.
Okay. And as you then look down that alleyway, you see the three thugs from earlier. They all have garlic around their necks, and each one of them has like a baseball bat, and the baseball bat has been sharpened on the end. So it's like almost like a baseball bat, but yet it's got a point to it. So like thump thump and then stirk.
Oh boy.
And you see the gnome again, still with the grump face and the mini goatee and the red pointy hat. He's pointing down and he's like, "Get it, boys!"
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you suddenly feel your dead heart start to just thump in your chest, and you know that you know that Hazel's in trouble.
So continue.
No, I'm assuming the detective and Beltane are still on their way. They're not here yet.
They're in your house. You heard the door and such, with your vampiric senses. You heard the door, and you probably heard the detective's voice because she's drunk and not ever subtle. So
I'm going to rush down the stairs with like a wide-eyed look at the detective and be like, "I'll deal with that soon." Because like I feel like I can roll for it if you want, but since I spent so much time with Beltane, like there's a sense that there's
well, yeah, at this point she does have an aura, like the aura of spring. What did we call it? Did I give you a name yet to call your life bond?
I'm just calling it spring cleaning.
Okay. All right. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. I had a name as I was doing the costume change, and then obviously I forgot it before I got back, and I like spring cleaning better.
So she'll look at the detective, look at Belty, and be like, "We'll deal with that soon. Your sister's in trouble." And she'll say, "Get in the car and follow me," because she's much faster than the car.
Okay.
And as soon as they're in the car, she'll start. Which the detective has never seen her at full speed.
Yeah.
So
So again, she becomes like a blur, and it's the whole like True Blood, like the zip and zip. Is the is there like color swirls, or because of your shadowmancy, are you covering yourself as you go? Does it look like a big billowy bit of darkness? Or
it's like a lot of like billowy darkness, but
Okay.
like a trail of billowy darkness that
Okay.
fades out.
All right, and so off into the night like a swarm of bats. And Beltane back in the car.
Yeah, she could just grabs the detective by its shoulder, turns her around, but this way.
Okay. And the
Ushers
orc,
her back towards the car.
and as soon as Lilith started to move, the orc jerked the door open as quickly as he could, before she just went through it and took off the hinges, because then he'd have to wake the goblins up. Anyway, so you're gone, and you guys are going back to the vehicle. Cut scene through the snow and beautiful Tatiana, and 3 men are approaching you, Hazel, with vampiric weapons.
This is an alleyway?
You are not in the alleyway. You are on the sidewalk.
I know, but they're in the alleyway?
Yes, they are in the alley.
All right, so judging by what I know about this time period, there's a lot of housing developments that are currently in process of getting built. Would there be like a half-finished building, maybe like still like the scaffolding and stuff is there in the process of getting built next to this building? That's like kind of creating the alleyway.
I can. I'm gonna go for a luck point on this.
I'll
If you
totally
want it to be
use
there.
that. Yes.
Okay.
Because
yeah, this is a business district, and that's the only reason I didn't say yes and is because this is literally shops instead of like apartments and stuff and whatnot.
This is a new shop. It's like a tall bank or something.
Yeah, and they definitely they're repainting the brick or whatever, and there's a scaffolding. Actually, they're doing roof repairs from snow damage, and so yes, there's the scaffolding and whatnot. What do you do?
I am going to use my watch this ability and pull the building down onto the people in the alleyway.
Shit.
And I'm good. I'm going to be using blood points to try and do this.
All right, we'll say that you could do the scaffolding and some of the supplies that are up top, so it'll be massive. But to pull a brick building apart,
yeah, that's why I was saying if it was like still like the bone structure of a house, where there isn't like floors or anything like that. It's literally just a bunch of beams that have been set in place.
So this is the 1920s era scaffolding, but the bricklayers did not carry the bricks down at the end of the day. So there's like a pile of bricks on top of it. So you're going to bring the whole scaffolding down and bricks and all on them?
Yeah, I just want to bring it all down on these guys. If there's 4 people, like there's 3 guys in a gnome being like, get her! Like, I don't fucking know. Kill them all.
Yeah. You can get the guys. The gnome is back in the alleyway at the door, so he's out of range.
Well, the gnome doesn't have a baseball bat that's been sharpened into a stake, so
exactly.
Nice. All right, so this is with my moxie, so that's a 13.
Oh,
Nice.
wow, nice. The
Didn't
guys
even
are
need
just
my blood points.
yeah, they're taken out. They're just crushed by the scaffolding, broken. Not even a whimper remains. They are incapacitated, and the gnome actually goes yoinks and zips in the door and slams the door, and you with your vampiric senses, you can hear his little cobbled shoes go tick, 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 upstairs, and you hear another door slam.
I just look up at it, look over at this mess that is in front of me. I'll just pull my hat down a little bit, and I say to myself under my breath, I'll be sure to tell my friends exactly where this shop is. And then I just begin walking down the road.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And just after you tip your hat, you turn and Lilith is there.
How's it
Are you
going,
okay?
Mrs. L?
What's going on?
I got you a present. Just pull out the hat first thing.
And Lilith, you smell the fresh blood, but it's stained with garlic. What? Come on.
What happened?
I handled it just the way you taught me. And she'll like kind of motion with a hand and a smile across her face to the destruction in the alleyway.
I'm very proud of you, Hazel. Now, who did this?
What'd you
Who
say?
did this?
Oh,
Who did this?
well, I did.
What? I meant.
There were 3
Isis?
men,
Mhm.
and they had garlic around their necks, and they had baseball bats that they had sharpened into a real pointy end. I think they were going to try and stab me with it. And then,
They were most definitely going to do that.
And Lilith, you know that the mistake Hazel made here too was she was going to walk away and leave those garlic and ball bats laying there. That would be physical evidence that wouldn't be covered by the veil. They would just be weirdness in the crimes, something that the police would call Harker about later on. So
Now, Hazel, you did take care of it, but what did I say about cleaning up?
well, I was actually going to save that part for you, Mrs. L. You see, there was a little gnome man. He had a small pointy beard, red hat that went up like this. He pointed at me and those 3 started going. He's up in the 2nd floor of that hat shop right now. He told me specifically to tell you exactly where he was, so...
Well, that seems like an invitation to me. Now, I'm sure Belton can help clean up. Why don't we find out why these men attacked such a nice young woman?
I think that would be a lovely start to an evening.
And then I'm going to start heading off to the hat shop. And like, if it's locked, I can roll for it, but I want to just pull the door off.
okay. Yeah, please do roll, just because we'll spend blood if not.
My brawn, I'm assuming.
Yep.
11.
Okay, yeah. You jerk the door from the hinges. The frame itself is like shattered as the door comes out, and you wing it down the alleyway. You know he's on the 2nd floor. The stairs are right there at the back of the shop. So,
Can hear anything else? Like anybody else on this floor?
no, there's no one on this floor. No one with a heartbeat anyway.
Okay. Well, then I'll start going up the stairs.
All right. There's the door in front of you.
Is it locked?
When you go to touch the door, you can't. Right of residency. There's a ward.
Can I use my shadow magic to just open the door?
All right, go ahead. Let's see how the shadows do.
I'm gonna use a lock point to reroll that because that was a 3.
That's what they're there for.
Ooh, that's much better. That is 11 plus 3 is 14.
Oh, jeez. Oh, great. Hold on. Let me take care of this real quick. Except I'm dyslexic.
Happens to the best of us.
Okay. So the shadows and the door slams open, and the shadows like creep along the edge, and they're like feeling the ward for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So the door is kind of the open doorway is kind of framed in like shadowy flame almost, and you see inside the gnome is standing there, and he's got like 3 or 4 of the garlic necklaces on, and he's got 2 stakes, one in each hand, and he's like, "Now you stay back. You can't come in. I know the rights."
You sure do. I can't come in, and I want to use my shadow magic to hold him still.
Ah, awesome. Okay. We're going to yeah, let's give you a -2 because you're trying to exert your will into his place, which is brightly lit. So you're going to have to draw the shadows from underneath, and you're trying to use your shadowmancy through his ward. So the home is supposed to protect from otherworldly critters and whatnot. So yeah,
that's fair. Okay, that's not bad though. And it's a 9 plus 3 is 12 minus 2 is 10.
Okay. So it's still a success. All of a sudden he looks down and there's little shadowy hands grab his legs or his feet, and then his hands, they sort of creep up on themselves and are holding his legs. And he's like, "You still can't come in."
We don't need to come in. And I'm going to see it. So he's wearing a bunch of necklaces.
Yeah, the garlic.
Yeah, I'm just going to have them twist around his neck and just start choking him.
Okay. All right. Same thing. Right of residence, -2 to your telekinetic powers through the ward.
9.
Okay. Yeah, he's it starts to twist, and he's like trying to put the stake through and hold it off kind of thing, but then it just redoubles and loops around his little gnomey head, knocking his hat off. And when he knocks his hat off, his perfectly styled blonde hair, it gets all disheveled and like Dragon Ball Z, sticking out all funky angles. And he's fumbling around, and he's like, all of a sudden he looks to the sky and he says, I'm doing what you asked, to the sky.
Who are you talking to?
You'll find out. And
There's no need for this violence. Why don't you just invite us in and we can talk like civilized people?
And his little cheeks are turning rosy, but his pallor as a whole is starting to twinge blue as he's beginning to be choked out. And he's like,
I'll loosen it a little bit, just enough so he can get breath in for words.
It's no.
Tightens back up.
Oh, man. He's like, no exposition. I can't say the lines. No, I'm kidding. It's who is so Beltane and Harker? Are you standing on the stairs watching this?
Well, Beltane's supposed to be cleaning up the crime scene.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just got a bulb of garlic and I'm tossing it into the river, picking up another one, tossing it into the river. Playing fetch with the kelpies.
Okay. All right. And they're pipping up and popping up and like, doing like dolphin kind of things, like the ring of garlic is floating down the river and they're like swoosh through it, and then back up and over. And
creepy little seahorses.
Yep. And the ball bats.
Oh, I'll take those to burn later.
Okay. All right.
I think that Harker is kind of bewildered by everything right now. And she will come wandering around the corner and see Hazel for the first time in 5 years.
Okay.
And the first time she sees Hazel in 5 years is choking another goddamn gnome.
Something's never changed.
So Hazel, we know you have on your fox fur coat. What's Hazel's look? I mean, other than her hand out, like manipulating the garlic.
So she's wearing like a long dress because it's winter, so it'd be like a nice woolen dress just to kind of like keep warm, keep appearances up. But it'd be very stylish because Lilith is a very stylish individual and probably wouldn't send her daughter out looking like trash. So I assume that she's looking nice, but all of her clothes are very dark. Where normally she would always wear very white, very bright, vibrant clothes, she's now wearing very dark, very like dark blues and grays and blacks. And she still has her head full of auburn hair, but you can see that there's a lot of white coming into it because, I mean, you're dead and your hair's growing. It would probably be dead hair pigment, so white would start coming in.
I assume Lilith uses blood to keep her hair like silky black.
Totally.
Of course. All right. Okay.
And she just has a wild eye. Like, she looks like she is just having a time with her powers.
And her eyes are solid red, right?
Red irises.
Yeah, she has red irises, but not the sclera.
Okay. I thought they were like demon red, like the whole thing.
No, it was just the irises of it.
Okay.
But again, she's very pale as well.
Harker, you see your sister at the top of the stairs.
Choking at a nose.
Yep.
Hazel.
Huh? It just like drops the choke on the gnome, like totally taken aback.
And he goes to fall over, but the little the little shadow hands have him, so he like slumps forward and he can't fall. He's like trying to gasp for breath and everything, but he literally looks like a wobbly, like a Weeble's wobble kind of thing, because he can't fall back or can't fall forward, and there's a counter behind him, so he can't fall back either. So and sorry to interrupt that scene for the visual, but
Harker just stumbles towards her.
What are you doing here?
I don't really know. You got a problem with wards here?
A little bit. He's not inviting us in. But
I see.
If you went inside and invited us, maybe we could come in.
Yeah, let's give it a try. And Harker will see if she can penetrate the wards.
I'm gonna say, now that you're Fey touched, you can't.
Yeah, just bong.
Yeah, you literally like whoa, what?
On the street, you hear a cackle.
Can I try something because I'm loving my new power so much?
Sure.
Can I try dragging him out of the room?
With the shadows?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a flat no on it. It won't let him cross the threshold. The rights of residence won't let you like pull him free from the home.
Okay.
Can I see if there's anything I can do to break the wards?
Yes, you can.
I feel like this is a role of some sort, and since I'm built to know things about magical stuff.
Yep. Do you want to think about it first, or just try it? Like, you can use your knowledge because you have all these knowledge skills. You can try to think about it, like look at the ward first, and I'll give you an advantage going forward to then trying to break the ward.
I'm gonna think about it first, then.
Okay. All right. Now you could roll a failure on this, but you got luck points, and we're almost done. So
that's true. Yeah, I'll think about it. I'm gonna use Know Thy Enemy.
Okay.
I'm gonna check downstairs real quick.
Which gives me a reroll if I need it. That one is 6. Hold on. What is the success?
7.
7.
Plus.
All right, I'm gonna roll again then.
Okay.
Haha! That one's an 11.
All right. Yeah. So I'll I'll give you the either a +2 or a free reroll. On using your occultism to crack this ward.
A +2 or 1 reroll, you said?
Yep.
Okay. What am I rolling? Because occultism is just adding a d4 to stuff.
Yeah. So you're gonna roll Moxie.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll be able to add the d4 to it.
All right. Here's my occultism die.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
All right. And this is Moxie.
Yep.
All right. I'm good at those at least. 7, 8, 9.
Okay. The ward, you what does it look like? How do you break the ward? What is the visual of it?
Well, she runs head first into it, and then just kind of stands there rubbing her head for a second, and then she just makes a movement with her hand, and a little flash of light follows her fingers as she does so.
Okay.
And that I imagine that when you run into a ward, you can kind of see ripples in the air.
It kind of has like a golden glow to it, like a yellow sort of glowing sunshine force field sort of deal.
Right. The whole ward will glow briefly and then just drop.
Oh, nice. And the gnome shrieks, and he's impossible angle this way, impossible angle that way.
Yeah.
trying to escape.
It'll hurt less if you stand still.
He gives up, and he's still holding the 2 stakes, but they just sort of droop by his side, and his little head drops, and he's like, I've been forsaken.
Much worse than that if you don't tell me what the fuck is happening.
It's like,
I say as I walk in.
okay. And as you're walking towards him, he never looks up. He's like, winter is coming. Forever. It'll be so much fun. But I won't be here. He's just looking at his own little feet. You're muted.
I'm not saying anything. I'm commenting on quietly to myself.
Sorry.
After dropping the ward, Harker just immediately turns around and starts walking away. Just like, I get the feeling I'm not going to want to see what happens next.
Nice. Okay. Lilith, Hazel, Beltane, you're done. Are you?
I'll start going inside and kind of brushing my hands off on the wall and stuff.
Okay. And as you're entering, you're seeing Harker coming down the stairs towards you.
Are you all right, detective?
It's just a little weird seeing Hazel like that.
Tatiana's outside if you want to wait.
I'll be good right here. I'll keep a lookout.
Okay.
Lilith. We cutscene. The floor rises up, a long black dress, Lilith's face coming across the gnome's apartment.
If there's a chair, I'll sit, and you'll see that her shadow is attached to these shadow hands.
Oh, nice.
Thanks. She'll make sure not to get close to him because he still has stakes. And in a very kind of just tired of whatever the hell's going on, she's like, care to explain what's going on, please? And less of a riddle, if you would, please.
And are you exerting your charm or like using any of your power on him?
I would say because she's tired of this shit, she's gonna try to use her charm.
Okay, please roll.
Ooh, yes. That's a 5 plus 4. That's 9 plus 3 is 12.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I'm rolling real good tonight, guys.
Crushing it. All right. And he's slumped there. And then he says, well, you seem like a good mistress. I could maybe serve you. I'll tell you what. It's the and as he goes to say that, he looks at his hand and starting at the fingertip, it turns blue and it starts crackling and an icicle forms off of it as his hand, and then he starts to like shiver and tries to shriek, but as he does, you see that his tongue has turned into ice, and it starts to go across his face and down his arm and up from his other fingers. The off the bottom of the stake, there's an icicle that attaches to the floor, and he's just becoming a block of ice before your very eyes.
Lilith's not even like surprised. She's just like, oh. Like I was just about to get the information I wanted.
And because we're so close to time on this, he finishes the transformation as you're rolling your eyes. I moved that along a little bit, and he just shatters. The pressure from the shadows across his thing snap him off, and his legs like break off, and he sort of slides sideways and hits the floor and just becomes ice cubes. And can we go a little longer? Just because there's one scene, there's a single scene, but there is a quick scene change. Mm-hmm. So
that's fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll scene change and back.
I think that this would be a good time for because Hazel just watched her sister that she hasn't talked to in about 5 years just like turn around and walk right by her. She's feeling a little miffed.
Yeah, and her clothes are all bloody and full of holes too. So she's not wearing her hat. That's very much not like her.
Beltane will come up and just place a hand on Hazel's shoulder and say, "Don't bite her."
Well, I wasn't. She's family. Why would I bite? No. Don't be ridiculous.
Lilith will go by Hazel and be like, "You should go talk to your sister. You haven't seen her in a while."
I'm gonna look for a nice hat because we're in a hat shop. So like, so I'm gonna find a really nice hat that's similar to the make and model that my sister had before, and I'll go up to her and I'll hold it out and just, "You look like you dropped this."
Yeah. Well, I dropped mine. This is a little fancy for me.
What's yours now?
She'll plunk it onto her head.
Makes you look smart.
That is quite the feat. You, look like you're doing well.
I'm doing all right. You look like shit. She just points to the bullet holes and the blood on your shirt.
Yeah, I had a hell of a night.
What's been going on with you? I haven't heard from you lately, and I can't really make it to the... Sorry, I haven't really been making my shifts over the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, well, I think that dying kinda puts a damper on that.
Yeah.
So you're excused.
Well, if you'd like, maybe I could come around again. Have you been cleaning? Or have you just been using that corner in your office for bottles again?
Yeah, I had a little spring cleaning.
But it's winter. Spring's not for a couple months. That means that you've been dirtying your office for what, 8 months now?
Oy.
Tell you what. I'll come over. We'll clean it together. Just like old times. Well, you know, old times, but not the old times where you would just pass out in your chair and then I would do most of the cleaning.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be nice. I got this fucking cat.
Oh, you have a cat? Oh, I love cats.
Yeah, well, Belle friggin' left it on my doorstep like an abandoned orphan. And so I had to step up and be the responsible one. You know, like I always am.
You always will be. just kind of like straighten your like button up shirt a little bit.
My wrinkly, bloody, buttoned up shirt.
Just your shoulders.
And just as you finish the shuffle on that, Beltane, you feel the electricity as far for blocks gets afraid. The electricity is scared and it leaves. It is frightened away. Elementally, it dissipates. And for blocks around, everything is thrown into darkness. I don't have a good way to do this, so I'm gonna have to pull this off first. So everything is thrown into darkness. The gnome has been shattered across the floor of his apartment, and suddenly the lights go out. All is black, and you hear the gnome told you too much. And from the darkness, you feel a crisp, cool sensation. You feel cold, Lilith. You feel cold, Hazel. You haven't felt cold in 5 years. Lilith, you haven't felt cold in 100 years? Since you became a vampire. Beltane, the hair on the back of your neck stands on end. You feel the old with the E on the end with the little swirls. And as you hear the gnome said too much, a blue celestial light begins to appear in the room from where you're at. And through the wall comes the head of an ancient drake. And it laughs again and eyeballs you all and says, "Winter will be forever." What do you do?
You just had this? You just had a dragon head hanging out?
I think Beltane reacts, and pulling that fey magic he used on Harker just kind of throws up an elemental spring and pulls everybody back as fast as he can.
Okay. You're gonna try to pull them to you?
Yeah, pull them to me and get to Tatiana as a part of my fading light ability. Bamf of short distance.
Perfect. Please roll.
Okay. Shit. What did we say this was part of? Dex?
What did we say?
I don't think we did.
In this case, let's make it, I hate to do this to you, but brawn.
Okay.
Because you're pulling.
You've got luck points still.
Yes, I do. Okay. No, I'm gonna use a luck point. Okay. It's a 7.
Okay.
It's a 7.
A consequence for a 7 to 9, you have to leave someone behind. Who do you leave?
Can I choose myself?
Yes.
I'll choose myself.
Fuck!
Because his loyalties are to the 3 women, and he has 3 promises to uphold, so he'll choose himself.
Okay. You guys, a feeling of springtime sunshine, that first ray of spring that falls upon you as winter breaks. Yeah, you haven't felt the sun in forever. Any of you. Well, the vampires, that is. And so as that first ray of spring hits, you feel yourself become a gentle breeze, and you find yourself sitting in Tatiana the engine running. Beltane is not there.
Ah, shit. Can I, with my vampire speed, go get him, pull him, and come back?
Yeah, you certainly may try.
I will sure as fuck try. That is not a bad roll. I rolled a 6 and a 5.
All right.
And that's like with I guess agility, dex. That's 0, so it's straight up 11.
All right. You appear. You snatch Beltane. Give me
What?
a brawn roll.
Beltane or me?
You're gonna try to carry an ancient elder elf.
I'm gonna use a luck point.
Okay.
To reroll that. Okay, that's a 6 plus 1 is 7, but I do have plus 3, so that's 10.
All right. You go whisking away. You get back to the car, and you actually see the head of this frost dragon looking thing stuck through the side of the building, and its body is literally like 4 or 5 car lengths long, and it's sticking out at you in the street, and you whip into the car, and the head rips around and comes back out and comes down towards the vehicle. What do you guys do?
I take
Floor
off.
it.
And as soon as that vehicle starts moving, Harker's going to roll down her window and sit on the window, get out her gun, and start doing cover fire.
You shooting a fucking dragon.
Okay.
What else am I supposed to do?
The Beltane, you floor it, and Tatiana roars forward and rips, and the dragon merely and it comes racing after, breathing, and the road turns to glare ice before you. So you're gonna basically roll with a -3 to keep the car on the road, and so -3, keep the car on the road. I think it's a dex roll. We major driving or something, right?
Yes, but I have a 3d6 because I'm an expert.
Oh, excellent.
So 6 plus 4 plus 3.
13.
13, thank you. Minus
3.
plus 2, which is my dex.
Okay. So way over
14
10
total, yeah.
Way over 10.
All right. It is chasing you. Where are you headed?
Oh, I'm like, tell me where we go or we're going to end up in the Feywild. Quick.
Oh.
And Harker, you were shooting at the dragon. Please
Yep.
Roll to shoot at said dragon.
I'm going to use crack shot so I can roll with 3 die.
Okay.
And take the 2 highest, I think?
Yep.
Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, awesome. All right. You realize that the lead of your bullets are not iron,
Mm-hmm.
and they pass straight through it. It's
All right.
great shooting, but it just sort of warbles through like shooting a snowman.
That's what I get for not thinking first. I'm going to duck back into the car and start digging through my bag for my iron bullets.
Yes.
And I think it's iron bullets that's going to hurt him.
Yep.
All right, that's what I do.
Can
Okay.
I use watch this to grab a piece of the scaffolding that had fallen in the alleyway and shoot it like a spear towards him, like rocket it?
You can grab something along the way, but you're way far away
Okay.
from that at this point. So like, what would be iron that would be laying door stops or boot rakes Do you know what a boot rake is? Do they have them? Not in the Midwest.
No.
All right.
I don't know what that is, but I'll do it.
Oh, it's to knock snow off of your feet.
Yeah. You scrape your boots before you enter a place.
Oh yeah.
Or boot brushes. Boot brushes.
Boot brushes, yeah.
So something like that would still be made out of iron. So you could try to watch this, chuck some bits of iron at him.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Try and throw the sharpest, pointiest thing that I can.
He's racing after.
How does the dragon look after all this?
So far it's gone through him like a snowman. They haven't hit him with anything that's affects the Fae yet.
14.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so suddenly the boot brushes and such come flying out of the doorways of the shops in this area, and they come ripping through him, and he shakes and shudders, and it's like as if you walked up to a snowman with the hot poker from the fire, and it sizzles through him and shakes him sideways and throws him off a bit. And you notice everywhere when he's touching the buildings, it just frosts over. It just turns to ice and snow. So you kind of throw him off, and you gain a little space on him. Where are you trying to drive to, Beltane? Did you say?
As I look back, I look to Lilith. I'm like,
is there any place that we would know that's has a lot of iron, like a mine around town, or?
Well, Beltane offers an alternative idea, even though it's against his very nature to do so. He needs to protect these people around him, and he's like, I can take us to my home, but it will require great sacrifice. Trust me. As I place my hand on Tatiana. I love you, old girl. I really do. And I'd rip a hole through space and time as I sacrifice Tatiana to get us through into the Feywild.
Oh, awesome. All right. As you do, you notice that the snout of the beast sticks through, and then a big claw comes and rends the very space and time fabric itself apart, and it puts a foot down, and when its foot lands, it actual ice and snow form around its foot, and it puts another foot in, and then it squeezes its body through and looms up over top of all of you.
Oh no.
And what do?
I'll say, spring is my domain, as I pull the powers of spring towards me.
All right. Hazel, what are you doing?
Well, we're in spring domain, and in the Sealy courts, the sun never sets, right?
Right.
Oh, great.
So myself.
My place of birth under a hawthorn tree. Great big old hawthorn tree.
So we are in the shade currently.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Because
Because it was either going to be I'm going to try and do something, or I'm going to cry and burn in a pile of ash. I need to protect these people.
Old hawthorn tree, which Beltane emerged about a couple hundred centuries ago. Millennia.
So
Harker?
Harker has gotten hold of her iron bullets, and she's loading her gun. As we arrive into spring and daylight, she's gonna shove her sister towards her vamp mama, in hopes that she's gonna do something to protect her.
Go ahead.
And then she's gonna point her gun again.
Okay.
Now, hopefully with some effect.
Hazel, I forgot. I cut you off. I'm sorry. What were you going to do since you're not burning?
I was in the middle of thinking, so it's totally fine that my sister goes first. I'm gonna try and watch this, but cause the roots of the tree to kind of like shoot up out of the ground and wrap around the claws.
Okay.
To try and like bind this creature to the ground in front of us, so that way we don't have to try and hit a flying moving thing.
All right. And then Lilith, we'll do actions in a moment, but Lilith, what do you do?
I was going to use my Heart of Darkness to do something very similar to what Hazel is doing and try to get the shadows since it is sunny, so there's lots of shadows, and wrap around the dragon to like keep it earthbound.
Okay.
I got 14.
I was going to say, let's start with the Earthbinders. So both Lilith and... So you got a 14?
Yeah.
All right.
I rolled 2 6s.
Whoa.
Plus 3.
Nice.
That's 15.
All right.
Oh, we're doing the thing where we're like back to back, both hands outstretched, and just
That's, shadows and roots are leaping everywhere. Harker, you can give me some shots?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Beltane, you were using Sunshine?
Using my BAMF ability to get close and hit this guy.
Okay. All right.
Have your present.
I'm gonna go. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. You first, Parker. I'm gonna say, being Hume, you're just a little slower than these.
No, that's completely fine. Any amount of time I need to spend rummaging around in my bag, it's a-okay with me.
All right. So Beltane, what do you do?
Beltane will pull out the present and he'll be pleasantly surprised that it's a beautiful ivory hawthorn steak. Like, it's a mix of ivory and hawthorn steak. It's like a walking stick that he's been after for some time. He saw it in the shop and it's been like, I want that so bad. And he'll use that and drive it down and towards the dragon as a weapon.
All right. Roll.
Point.
8.
8. All right. You drive it in, and it seems to rip through the snowman type body of this thing, opening it up, and inside you see that it has it lifts its head up, kind of more exposing the ice crystalline heart inside its chest. Harker, you know what to do.
Yeah, I do. And I'm going to use my occultism to add a d4 to this roll.
Nice. I mean, not nice. Don't do that.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
All right. And like I said, its head was reared up, its chest exposed. It's being bound by roots and shadow. Ooh, by roots and shadow. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Its chest has been ripped open. Its crystalline heart is exposed. Poop, poop. Pops your 38 special, firing lead bullet or iron bullets into the beast, shattering its silver heart or its icy heart. The heart explodes out, and the entire beast goes boom and vanishes into a small shower of snow that immediately here in the realm of spring becomes a light, gentle rain that patters all around.
I really wanted a dragon coat.
It's all water. The end.
now we're stuck here. Hooray!
Beltane's panicking purely because he's not supposed to be here.
Yep.
He's been
But,
banished from this realm.
Does that extend to Harker?
No.
You
Just
all,
him.
you all look at each other like that. We did it, and you. It's obvious Beltane's scared. Harker's like, I don't get it, and the vampires are like, okay, we're stuck under this tree.
I get a big smile on my
Beltane
face,
tried.
and I'll hug Lilith on the side and just, we did it, Mrs. L!
Lil's just like kind of like patting her head as she's hugging her. So we sure did, Hazel. Beltane? Not that your home is not lovely, but as I recall, we're not supposed to be here.
I touch the hawthorn tree and kind of wince as my energy is just drained at this point. And push open the portal, kind of ripping the tree apart, and say, "Go on through. All of you, go on.
Happily.
Back to winter."
You step back off into Rovecloft, Rovecloft, into the wintry snow. The winter storm seems to be gone or has abated. The rest of you?
I make sure to go in with Beltane, that we go in together.
Yeah. Harker makes sure that Beltane is coming and he's not trying to pull off some sort of self-sacrificing bullshit here.
Yeah.
He kind of just allows it because he's just too tired to protest. And once on the other side, he'll sigh.
And just as you just as the tree sort of starts to become a solid tree again, you hear a clarion horn sound in the distance, and in the Feywild, some sort of horn sounds, and then the tree closes and it's all gone, and you're just looking at the street. The electricity starts to flicker back to life, and we see our heroes gathered in the snow. With camera begins to pan out into the darkness above the storm. We rise above the port of Ravclough and sort of swirl away like a snowflake on the wind. Credits.
Yes! Thank you, GB! Thank you for running this. This is awesome! We killed a dragon!
The motherfucking dragon.
We killed
I
a
fucking
dragon!
died.
Welcome to the club, sis!
The Harker sisters
Yeah.
are dying at the end of every fucking episode.
Oh no!
Well, we don't have any more sisters to kill off, so
I'm gonna get me some lights. 1 second.
do it.
Oh
Bring some
no!
light back in your life.
Oh, I'll have to come up with a new car.
Well, you know,
I'm sure Lilith will get you the best car.
it's not the same.
It's not the same. Silver trim with black paneling.
You're gonna need to get a Volkswagen Bug and call it Puck.
I can get you the exact same car if that's what you want.
It's not the same.
It had
Well,
my
you know
butt
what?
print in the seat. I have to spend years doing that again.
I'll never be that comfortable again.
It had all my candy and sweets in it.
Oh, your
All
fake
my
candy.
favorite thing.
I just imagine Belton being so complaining as Lilith's carrying him into the house.
Just overly dramatic.
And they say I'm dramatic.
Oh my god. No, we will definitely be getting more into this in Nights in the Courtyard. But first, GB, thank you so much for running this game. Where can we find you? What do you do?
I'm Greybeard at Greybeard's Tavern. You can check me out mostly on Twitter these days. I unfortunately currently, other than this, have no more indoor adventures for a while. Hopefully we can find a day to get me back on the show here and there. But I will be starting this Friday. I will be on a Jackal and Hare's channel, playing in the year 2037 Miami, Q Miami Vice theme. We are going to be cops versus the mafia, and there's going to be 2 sets of players playing each opposite week of each other over there. So, and we're going to fight for control of 2037 Miami. Then starting on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on Encounter Roleplay as Sergeant Traeger, a future jumping individual who is trying to fix the fraying strands of time. I'll be over there with LB Hackemup. Who else is with me? Greek Sid. And I can't remember Rob's name, but if you look on my Twitter, it's all there. That'll be fantastic. Of course, my own show on Sunday mornings, Darkest Dungeon, where, you know, there could be a few other props and toys to play with, because, you know, I love it so. And that's 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday, Eastern Standard Time. I think that's all the shows I got right now.
All right, awesome. And Satan, where can we find you? What do you do?
You can find me on Twitter at Alyssa Vamp with 2 P's because somebody had the one with 1 P. And you can find me Saturdays over at Plot Hunters, our Twitch channel, which is where we stream our D&D show. Right now we're going through Waterdeep. I believe we're near the end. I'm not sure. But we are an all POC LGBTQ plus cast, so if you want to support small spaces like that, you can come and watch us and subscribe and follow. And that's on Saturdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. And on Thursdays, I play over at Dammit Berry's channel. We're playing Horde of the Dragon Queen, and I play at Shatterkai Shadow Sorcerer. And soon, next week, starting Wednesdays, which is, I also won't have time for one-shot Wednesdays for a while, but we are starting again on Dammit Berry's channel. We're starting session 0 of our soon-to-be Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign with the amazing Greybeard, LP Hack 'em Up, Lazy Bones, and me. So be sure to catch that. That's going to be Wednesdays, I believe that. I don't know what time it is. What?
8.
Yeah.
Eastern Standard.
Yes, at 8 Eastern Standard Time. So, and anything else it'll be on my Twitter.
Yes. And Danae, where can we find you? What do you do?
My name is Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D, and a lot of stuff from this channel. I did some doodles tonight, so if you want to see them, you're going to have to go there. They're not there yet. Just hold your horses. I'll put it on the Discord. But I also am here as an Eladrin Paladin named Coriander on Mondays for our homebrew game. I also run Curse of Strahd on Tuesdays here. But not next week, the week after. I'll be back. See me there.
Yes.
Bang.
And Jen, where can we find you? What do you do?
You can find me over at RPG Labs tomorrow at 7 British Summertime. I will be the DM in my homebrew campaign, the Ashenfell campaign, where we're taking players through the concept of trial by fire, quite literally. And I'm over also at the SS Adventure as a player with my little halfling sorcerer.
Nice.
Excellent. And if you have made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey fella, how's it going? It's me, your pal, the Indoor Adventurer. You can find me here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and coming up later this month, Thursdays, all at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have our homebrew game on Mondays. We got our Curse of Strahd on Tuesdays. We got One Shot Wednesdays. And like I said, Ghost of Saltmarsh coming up. So we like to make sure that you audience members can find us every day, pretty much, on whatever platform that you so desire. Because we also have YouTube.com. We have our audio cast up on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podbean, just to name a few. And if there is a audio listening app that you prefer to go through, but our podcast is not there, send me a message at IndoorWTF on Twitter, and I will make sure to get this podcast to you or to your friends or to your grandparents. I don't really care. I mean, people should just be listening. So that way we can make 2019 the year we beat the Indoor Air Conditioning Repair podcast team. They've held the reigning title of Indoor A Autofill for far too long, so we need to make sure that this is taken care of. But we are going to be going into our Patreon or Patreon supported podcast called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from you guys, the community at large. I'm also going to be planning on opening up Nights in the Courtyard as far as like questions go on our Discord to everybody. So as long as you are in our Discord, you can feel free to ask us questions during the game, but then on Patreon is where you will find the answer to those questions. So if you feel like supporting us that way, or again, using possibly a Twitch Prime subscription to help support the channel, I would highly support your decision. But with all that said, we are going to be going into that podcast, so we will see you guys later. All right, everybody. Good night.